Hey guys, it's Ed again. Well, some of you guys that watch the channel may remember this piece of, what should we call it, equipment that I built. This is the old motorcycle stand. The Harbor Freight one took the place of this one, but I thought maybe it could work as the skid to bring the motorcycles up and down the stairs using the winch, which we've kind of talked about briefly. But I'm definitely thinking a skid is the way to go. I cut the end of it here. This was square, and I just cut it at a 45. I need to trim off the end of the plywood. I just zipped that off with a Sawzall. So I'm debating on which side should be the, because what's going to happen is when it hits the floor, I'll show you here. Hang on a second. Okay, so you see what we've got here. Now, I got it laid up against the stairs. There's going to be two 2x4s that run the lengthways down, 4 or 5 inches apart, so the tire stays in that groove. I saw this online. It wasn't on a YouTube video. It was on a forum or something. And some guy had pictures of this deal. And it seemed to work pretty good. The only thing I don't like is, see, if I put the winch, I wanted to put the winch down here. And I want to bring it up through a loop and bring it down. Now, I know a lot of you guys were like, why don't you just put the winch outside on the garage, make a strap out there, and you could winch it up and down, which probably be a lot less work, but it's still a possibility. But anyway, this is the issue. See, so let's just say it doesn't matter if it's hooked on the outside on the garage or if it's hooked down on the wall and then looped around through a double pulley, which is kind of my thought. The problem is that once it hits the floor like this, once it gets to this stage, we're done, because that's going to hit the floor and the bike is going to sit there. So what I need to do is, I think I need to add a set of wheels to the back of this so they stick out just enough. And I haven't quite figured out how I want to do that, but I do have a set of lawnmower wheels here. So see what I'm doing there? Actually, that almost looks pretty good if I set it, if I put the axle right on top of the deck. That might work. Put the axle on top of the deck and then, jack it up a little bit, push it up. So the wheel hits the ground first. That's going to cause that to roll backwards, but it's got to be low enough also, which it almost looks like it might be. I don't know. I don't know if that line would hit or not. I could always relief that a little bit more too. Cut that at a little more of an angle. That's just the angle that was on it. That was the ramp angle I used so I could push the bike up on. I'll put a link, or I'll try to link my old video of this when I built it so you can see how it works. And then how I took it apart to re-engineer it into this ramp. So anyway, that's kind of what my thoughts are. I'll bring you back and we'll take a look at it. Okay guys, this is what I've come up with. As you can see, it's clearing the back of the skid on both sides. This happens to be a crank out of a snowblower, the part that turns the crank, just in case anybody wants to know. It's not perfect on the axle, but it doesn't have to be as long as it turns. All I got to do here is come up with a way to hold it on, and I could weld it, but I don't have a welder down cellar. So, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a couple straps you know, out of some strapping material. Actually, I might even have just the thing I want right here. All right, I got some strapping material here. We'll screw that down and make some straps out of it. Okay, guys, we got real old school on it. We jammed a big nut, a lug nut in there, and a real high-tech cotter pin, otherwise known as a finishing nail. It is beautiful. Notice the strapping used as a device to hold the axle on. The wheels stick out just a little bit past the back, which is what we were going for. See? So let's set it up there and see what we get. Okay, guys. I tried setting it up high, but it actually rolled down, which is exactly what I wanted to do. It probably would have kept rolling if it wasn't for hitting that little plastic thing that needs to go in the trash. So, I think that's going to work. I think the biggest thing we're going to need to do is create the 2x4 runners down the middle and then put the hook in it. Now, my theory is behind the hook is if I go with the center mount, okay, if I go up there, what I can do is, you know what I mean, like with the winch mounted down maybe near the floor or maybe even up under the stairs. I even thought bring it up because I do get some water down here, so I'd prefer to have it up a little higher. But I might be able to secure it to the back of the stairs. And the winch cable comes up, goes through the pulley, goes down underneath. Okay, what's nice about the underneath is it actually, when it's sitting on the floor down here, the winch cable, when it pulls, will lift that front end up. So it'll help, I think, get it onto that edge. And then I'm thinking about hooking it. My original thought was to hook it dead center, which is about here. But there's a 2x4 here. You can see those two screws maybe. So I'm thinking about either hooking it dead center or maybe a little past center. I'm not sure yet. Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to pull 50% of it, approximately, up through the door. I want to get, you know, a good chunk of it out through the door. So when it's setting up right, it's going to be setting up like this. Okay, you can kind of see. I'll put my hand. Actually, here I got just the thing. I got a stick. Okay, check that. The scale is crazy. Look at that. That's cool. So when it's up here, I want half of it sticking out the door. Okay, so it's going to go right out the door. And then there's going to be a leg that drops down where my blue finger is. And that leg will drop down and that will support this thing. Look at that. It's almost even the same length. This is crazy, dudes. This is just a stick. See, I just grabbed it. It's a push stick. And it's exactly my arm focal length is perfect. And width. That's just nuts. So anyway, I know the little things impress me. So anyway, we hook into the middle of this. So we hook in the middle of this stick, which is actually the ramp. We then drag it up, goes up till it gets to the middle. Now it's on the teeter point. So it teeters. Boom, it's down. The back leg drops down, which supports the bike. Or supports the ramp, okay? We push the bike onto the ramp. We then knock the leg out from underneath it. We could have a permanent leg or even a temporary leg. My original thought was to have it twist down, you know, pivot down on the outside, put a pivot point back here and let it pivot down to hold it. Pivot up out of the way. Now it's just kind of teetering there. You might have to give it a little push to get it to break off of level. But once the weight of the bike comes down on it, it's going to want to catch. It's going to catch the weight of the winch, reverse the winch, and down it comes, hits the floor, the little wheel, as you can see, and hopefully it comes down to about, probably won't hit the floor. It might, but I doubt it. It'll probably get to about here, which is actually fine. I have no issue with that because I can push the bike off that or onto that up a 2 steps. So, or even up 3 steps. I mean, I can do it for a little ways. You know, I can push it and strap it down and do everything I need to do. So I think it's going to work. The big question is hooking the winch either outside that door, out onto the garage, and winching it right out to the garage, because the garage is right there, or making a contraption underneath the step. You know, I mean, it'd be cooler to make the contraption. You know, I mean, it'd be a lot neater to have that there. But then you're also dealing with the pulley contraption, which is a double pulley, because I want to be able to run the cable up around that first pulley down between here. I'm going to notch this so the cable has a spot to kind of guide it. Comes down, hooks halfway down or a little past halfway, maybe those right there, and then makes a turn. I'll put an eyelet in it so the cable goes around and it has a pulley in it, you know, and then comes back up, goes back down, and hooks into the winch. So if I go the other way, if I hook it outside, it's a longer ways to go, and I don't know if I got enough cable. So that could be a deterrent from going the easy way and hooking it to the barn. I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, you know, the winches aren't meant to pull up or down or do whatever, which you're probably right. But I mean, we're not towing, you know, a 900-pound bike. I'm not working on Harleys. These are just little Hondas. I don't expect, you know, I mean, maybe the Bentley or the Bentley or the Bentley. Yeah, that'd be nice. If I had a Bentley, that would be really cool. Hey, Musty's got a Porsche now, so, or his buddy does. So anyway, the Bentley or the XL, or, you know, getting this little guy out of here. But, so there's the winch. It's the good old Harbor Freight. There's the information. 650-pound single or 1,300-pound double pull. It does work. I did plug it in, but, you know, I was thinking maybe I could even mount it down under here. And see, there's like a 2x10 across there. That would kind of catch it. See, that would keep it from pulling up. And then I could almost build it out of wood and put it right in here. So you can see it would sit right in here, and then drill a hole up here somewhere so it'd come up, and then make a steel, like a steel triangle, you know, with a pulley on that side of it and then a pulley on that side of it. Goes up through the pulley, comes down the staircase, and hooks down there. See? Simple. But it's going to hook in the middle, of course. It'll be guided down through. And then hook down here. And then goes back up through the double pulley, back down to the winch. Bing. Done. Yeah. I like it. I think it would almost work. Because this is even... See how the pulley on this... You got the winch motor on this side and the cables on this side. So if I put it in there, it would actually... And I want to be able to keep that staircase kind of open over on that side, because the door swings that way. So if I, you know, if it got unstable or whatever, I'd like to be able to walk next to it. And I think the cable might even reach the remote cable. Maybe not. I could always cut it and make it longer. So that's no big deal. So anyway, guys, that's me thinking again. But the wheels seem to work pretty good on this. I'm kind of impressed. So anyway, I've babbled long enough. Thanks for watching, subscribing, and commenting. And I hope you enjoy this how to get your motorcycle out of the basement or get your motorcycle into the basement without blowing a testicle. Bye.